Formula One cars will become up to 4 seconds per lap faster by 2028, thanks in part to new engine rules being phased in over the next 2 years. And we've seen the F1 team simulation data that reveals how car performance will change drastically over the next 2 seasons. The nominal 50-50 split between the internal combustion engine and battery power, in reality it's more like 53-47, will shift to a 58-42 step in 2027 and then a final 60-40 split for 2028. This will be achieved through a combination of increasing the fuel flow by 5% next year up to 13% in 2028, as well as reducing the maximum battery power from 350 kilowatts to 300 kilowatts. Further assistance will come through an increase in the maximum allowance for energy harvesting through the MG UK, up from 350 kilowatts this year to 375 kilowatts in 2027, and then 400 kilowatts in 2028, with the battery capacity jumping from 4 megajoules this year to 4.5 in 2027 and 5 megajoules in 2028. Hope in the F1 paddock is that all these elements added together will result in cars that don't demand extreme energy harvesting techniques like superclipping and lift and coast, so drivers can be flat out more often and the cars will feel more natural to drive. These rule changes were agreed after a research project conducted by the FIA in conjunction with the teams, and our colleague John Noble managed to exclusively obtain some of the simulation data for 3 different circuits on the F1 calendar: energy-starved Melbourne, mid-range Barcelona and energy-rich Shanghai, on which 3 different simulations were run. 2026 cars as they are now, with aerodynamic improvement but no further engine changes, 2027 cars with more powerful engines, increased fuel flow and better energy harvesting, and even more aerodynamically advanced 2028 cars with even more powerful engines, increased fuel flow and better energy harvesting. In this video, we're going to talk you through the key lessons we've gleaned from this data and what it means for how the cars are likely to behave next season and beyond. The quick summary is simple. By the time we get to 2028, the cars will be faster down the straights, maintain their top speed for longer, and deliver better lap times. And while downforce levels and tyre performance cannot be predicted accurately at this point, as they very likely could be cut back by the FIA over time for safety reasons, this early data reveals that untamed, the new power units will be enough to start beating lap records again. As this animation from Just F1 car shows, under the new rules planned for 2027, F1 cars could lap Albert Park 2 seconds faster than this year, and it's likely they could achieve a significant lap time improvement regardless, purely thanks to aerodynamic development and the engine tweaks that were agreed and implemented for May's Miami Grand Prix, which was the first step towards creating a more normal speed profile for the cars. By 2028, the cars are expected to be capable of going under the existing qualifying lap record, a 1 minute 15.096 lap set by Lando Norris to take pole in 2025 in a ground effect McLaren Mercedes. If, and it's a big if, nothing is done to slow the cars down before then, either by restricting aerodynamic development or reducing the mechanical grip of the tyres, or both. Across the 3 tracks, there appears to be a common trend of there being a notable leap forward by 2028, of the cars being around 3 to 4 seconds per lap quicker than they are now. Next year's halfway house regulation is set to deliver a simulated improvement of around 2 seconds per lap, depending on track characteristics. However, what is important to factor in is that a lot of the performance steps are coming from downforce levels, so the actual impact of the power unit changes themselves are not as drastic as it might seem at first.
Today's video is brought to you by the Armor All Podium Series, a premium line of car cleaning, detailing and air freshening products made in collaboration between Armor All and Oracle Red Bull Racing. Engineered with precision and expertise featuring SiO2-based hybrid ceramic technology, the Armor All Podium Series products are formulated to meet the elite performance standards of Oracle Red Bull Racing, so you can achieve podium-worthy results on your vehicle at home. Fans of the race have had a chance to try the Armor All Podium Series products on their cars, and they said the results are incredible. From the tyre shine to the interior detailer and spray wax, this line has everything you need to clean and detail your vehicle like the Oracle Red Bull Racing team. The Armor All Podium Series is available now online and in store. Find out where to buy and more information at armorallpodiumseries.com. The Armor All Podium Series, the world's most elite car care.
As well as F1 wanting the current cars to be flat out in qualifying and more fun for the drivers, one of the key areas of improvement targeted is the speed profile of the cars down the straights. The dramatic slowing down of the cars at the end of long straights became a real bone of contention for fans and drivers at the start of this year, with Lando Norris saying that it hurts the driver's soul when the battery runs out and the car engine note falls away as it loses acceleration. This sort of car behaviour, stemming from the 50-50 power units, is what's created the bizarre go slow to go fast driving phenomenon, where cornering speed must be sacrificed to ensure sufficient battery power for the straights, because an overall bigger lap time gain is possible than were a driver to find extra milliseconds from driving that corner better than a rival could. It's also what's led Fernando Alonso to witheringly describe Formula One as the Battery World Championship. While this element cannot be eradicated everywhere, Suzuka's 130R, for example, will always be a problem on this front because this generation of F1 cars with active aerodynamics will never be able to go through it in straight line mode. The simulation data for the new rules show things are much improved. As shown in this animation of the run from Melbourne's turns 1 and 2 up to turn 3, again from Just F1 car, the 2028 cars appear to be much better in terms of top speed, and they can maintain their acceleration for much longer down the straights. It's also important to note that if the rules were not changing for next year, anticipated increases in downforce levels would eliminate the gains made from the Miami rule tweaks, because the extra drag would place more demand on the energy recovery systems and likely lead to an unwelcome return for the more extreme energy harvesting techniques. As the teams add downforce, the cars become draggier, so burn more energy pushing through the air and then harvest less energy in the corners because they're carrying more corner speed thanks to increased downforce and grip. If we take the run to turn 10 in Barcelona, for example, a theoretical 2027 car with a 2026 spec power unit would start losing speed well before the corner, and even earlier than with the current energy-starved cars. They would travel too quickly through turn 9, the ordinarily super fast and challenging Kampse, which would eliminate an energy recovery opportunity and mean the car runs out of power halfway down that short back straight. There is a decent change for the planned 2027 rules, but the gains for 2028 are much more significant. It's a similar story in Melbourne, where the run to turn 11 would have meant a bigger reduction in speed with the current power units next year compared to now, with significant clipping early on that short straight that links up with turns 9 and 10, where the 2027 cars without more power could travel significantly faster thanks to their extra downforce. 2028 rules package shows a clear difference on the run to Albert Park's turn 9, which was one of the areas where the original 2026 cars showed off their worst aspects earlier this year. 2028 cars should be able to arrive to that section of track much faster and go through it much faster without then compromising massively what happens next. The overall conclusion is that while next year's minor shift is not going to change the world, it is better than what we would have got if nothing had been done, and would have been even worse than now. But F1 is going to have to wait until 2028 to see a solution that can get us back to a place where speed profiles are more normal and F1 drivers are knocking on the door of breaking track records once again.